On the news tonight, federal government pledges to strengthen democracy and national unity as the nation marks Democracy Day. Independent National Electoral Commission fixes dates for primaries in restored constituencies. First batch of Nigerians evacuated from South Africa arrives Lagos. And abroad, Philippines quake disaster worsen as survivors pleads for urgent airlift. Good evening and welcome to Delta Television Mid News. My name is Perpetua Iboba. You can follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. And to the details. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening democratic governance, promoting national unity, and addressing the challenges confronting the nation as Nigeria marks the 2026 Democracy Day celebration. The assurance was contained in a statement by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris. The minister noted that Democracy Day provides an opportunity for Nigerians to reflect on the country's democratic journey and honor the sacrifices of pro-democracy heroes, particularly Chief Moshood Abiola, whose struggle remains a symbol of the nation's democratic development. The federal government noted that 27 years of uninterrupted democratic rule demonstrate the resilience of Nigeria's democratic institutions and the determination of citizens to uphold constitutional governance, peace, and stability. The government called on Nigerians to embrace unity, peaceful coexistence, and responsible citizenship, stressing that the country's progress depends on collective efforts to strengthen democracy, foster national cohesion, and build a more prosperous nation. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has called on Nigerians to remain committed to the ideals of democracy, national unity, and peaceful coexistence as the country marks the 2026 Democracy Day celebration. He described June 12 as a symbol of the sacrifices made by patriotic Nigerians in the struggle for democratic governance. Senator Akpabio noted that 27 years of uninterrupted democratic rule have strengthened Nigeria's democratic institutions and provided citizens with the opportunity to participate in governance through constitutional means. He urged Nigerians to continue supporting efforts aimed at deepening democracy and promoting national development. The Senate President also reaffirmed the commitment of the Red Chamber to enacting laws that would enhance good governance, economic growth, and the welfare of the citizens. He stressed that the National Assembly would continue to work with other arms of government in advancing the nation's democratic aspirations. He further encouraged citizens to honor the memories of Chief Moshood Abiola and other heroes of the June 12 struggle by upholding democratic values, respecting the rule of law, and contributing positively to nation building. The National Assembly is set to hold a joint sitting of the Senate and House of Representatives tomorrow as part of activities marking Nigeria's Democracy Day celebration. President Bola Tinubu is expected to address lawmakers during the special session at the National Assembly's complex in Abuja. The leadership of the National Assembly says the joint session will provide an opportunity to reflect on Nigeria's democratic journey, assess progress made over the years, and reaffirm commitment to democratic governance and constitutional rule. The event is expected to bring together principal officers of both chambers, members of the National Assembly, senior government officials, and other stakeholders in the nation's democratic process. The National Assembly reiterated its commitment to supporting policies and legislation aimed at strengthening democratic institutions, promoting national development, and improving the welfare of Nigerians as the country marks 27 years of uninterrupted democratic rule. As part of activities marking the third anniversary of the 8th Delta State House of Assembly, the Speaker, the Right Honorable Emomotimi Guwo, has highlighted the achievement of the legislature over the past 3 years, reaffirming its commitment to effective lawmaking, oversight and representation. The Speaker, at a press briefing heralding the celebration, described the relationship between the legislature and the executive as a key factor in the state's development. Favor Okafor has details.
Addressing journalists, the Speaker said the House has remained focused on delivering quality legislation and carrying out its constitutional responsibilities in the interest of Deltans. The Speaker, flanked by other lawmakers, noted that the Assembly has recorded significant milestones through the passage of people-oriented laws, consideration of executive bills, motions and resolutions aimed at promoting good governance and sustainable development across the state.
During the third session of the 8th Assembly, the House received a total of 11 bills, comprising 5 executive bills and 6 private members' bills. Out of these, 5 have been passed by the House, 4 have received the assent of His Excellency the Governor, while 1 is currently being processed for assent.
He commended Governor Sheriff Oborowori and the executive arm of government for maintaining a cordial working relationship with the legislature, stressing that the synergy between both arms has enhanced governance and accelerated the implementation of policies and programs for the benefit of the people. The Speaker assured Deltans that the House will continue to uphold its constitutional mandate and pursue legislative actions that will further advance the growth and prosperity of the state. The event also featured an interactive session during which journalists sought clarifications on legislative activities, achievements of the Assembly, and issues relating to governance in the state. Meanwhile, the House during plenary cleared and conferred Mr. Brave Enode as member of the State Executive Council. The Speaker charged the newly cleared ESCO member to live in line with the MO agenda. Favor Okafor reporting.
Stakeholders in the National Health Insurance Scheme have been urged to prioritize teamwork and advocacy to ensure wider coverage and effective service delivery. The Secretary to the Delta State Government, Dr. Kingsley Emu, made the call during a courtesy visit by officials from the health insurance schemes of Kano and Rivers States, who are on a study tour of Delta State Contributory Health Commission. Sams Okwojite reports.
Dr. Emu emphasized the importance of building synergy and collaboration among agencies, stressing that a united approach is key to successfully promoting accessible health services to all citizens. He emphasized that health should always take precedence over wealth, urging stakeholders to intensify advocacy programs and seek support from federal government to strengthen the implementation of the National Health Insurance Scheme in their respective states. The SLG further called on the visiting officials to use the insights gained during their tour to enhance healthcare delivery in their respective states, stressing that effective teamwork and community sensitization are essential to achieving universal health coverage.
We are the implementing arm of the national contributing health pool. However, we should be supported. I see a lot of support coming in multiples of support, but they should have as targets areas that they should get to, because that is the surest and closest place to providing healthcare, closest to primary healthcare agencies, closest to people. Well over 400 primary healthcare centers. Am I correct? 400 primary healthcare centers.
The Director General of the Delta State Contributory Health Commission, Dr. Isaac Akpoveta, who led a delegation, explained that the visit was inspired by discussions at a recent seminar in Akure, where sister agencies expressed interest in studying the success of Delta State's health insurance system.
This one will be having some technical sessions with them, but I felt it not safe because you are the father of the health insurance in Delta State. You mentor the writing of the bill.
Responding on behalf of the visiting states, The Executive Secretary of the Rivers State Contributory Health Protection Program, Dr. Vekti Agala, commended Delta State for setting a sterling model of healthcare management and encouraged states to maintain its trajectory towards universal health coverage.
Please convey our excitement and our thanks and our congratulations to His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, for the massive work he is doing.
Delta State is currently recognized as having the highest number of health insurance enrollees in Nigeria, supported by a robust and well-structured health insurance system. Sams Opojite reporting.
The state government has enjoined residents of the state capital and its environs to consult town planners before embarking on any building project to ensure a sustainable environment and orderly development of the capital territory. Making the call in Asaba, the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Renewal, Honorable Sunday Tata Buzogo, said seeking professional guidance from town planners before construction also helped developers to avoid encroaching on areas designated by government for specific purposes. Gloria Otolo has details.
At a road walk by the ministry aimed at driving the point home, Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Renewal, Honorable Sunday Tata Buzogo, stressed that the state government placed high priority on adherence to physical planning regulations to ensure that developments aligned with approved land use plans. He added that compliance with planning guidelines also help prevent disorderly growth and protected public infrastructure.
For you to have a sustainable environment, you must ask the town planner. Because if you ask the town planner, what do we do? How do we start development? The town planner is able to tell you where is area meant for industrial area, commercial area, residential areas. And is this sites and services provided? Because the state government, our governor, have tried to open up the hinterland and the cities by constructing different road bridges. It is important for anybody that wants to build anything in this state, you must need to visit the town planning department.
Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Dr. Charity Ehieme, described planning as an essential part of daily life and development, urging people to build in approved locations and obtain the necessary approvals.
Presently, not just Delta State in Nigeria, most cities are planned. We go outside the country, the place is beautiful. So today we came out to sensitize the indigenes about the need for us to ensure we have approved documents in building before we build, and also the need for us to ensure our facilities are well planned.
Adding their voices, Director of Town Planning, Mr. Eddie Edwesoedu, and his urban development counterpart, Mr. Godwin Okore, among others, called on all to seek professional advice in building to prevent breaches of existing development guidelines.
Obviously, the public is not too aware of our functions. So we're enlightening the public to let them know that whatever, if you want to carry out any infrastructural development, there's need for you to come to the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Renewal to get your permits and to get your guidelines.
From what you have heard so far, it is more than town planning in a group. Town planning is that profession that sees to all uses. Whatever your intention in development is, you must find it articulated in a plan that is put together in a plan, a design, before you can go to ground, on the physical ground, to develop it, to implement it.
Gloria Otolo reporting.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed June 16 to 25 for political parties to conduct primaries in recently restored state constituencies in Delta, Benue, Jigawa, and Kogi states ahead of the 2027 general elections. INEC, in a statement yesterday, endorsed by its National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Mohammed Haruna, said the restoration of the constituencies followed court judgment directing the reinstatement of previously suppressed constituencies and was carried out in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and the Electoral Act 2026. It said the special primary election window was intended to facilitate the nomination of candidates by political parties for the restored constituencies ahead of the general elections, stressing that all other timelines and activities contained in the revised timetable and schedule of activities already released for the 2027 general election remained applicable to the affected constituencies. The electoral umpire directed political parties to submit notices of their primaries ahead of the scheduled dates, citing the unique nature of the exercise, while reiterating its commitment to ensuring credible, inclusive, and transparent electoral processes. The restored constituencies, a total of 12, comprise 10 in Kogi State, 1 in Jigawa, 5 in Benue, and 6 in Delta State. Anyocha North 2, Ika Northeast 2, Sapele 2, Ethiopia West 2, Warri Southwest 2, and Warri North 2. The federal government has declared tomorrow a public holiday to commemorate Democracy Day in Nigeria. The announcement was made by the Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, on behalf of the federal government. In a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Magdalene Ajane, the government described June 12 as a significant day in Nigeria's history, honoring the sacrifices and resilience of Nigerians who fought for democratic governance. The federal government reaffirmed its commitment to democratic values, including the rule of law, transparency, accountability, and inclusive governance. It also assured citizens of continued efforts to strengthen internal security and protect lives and property nationwide. The government urged Nigerians to use the occasion for civic reflection, remain law-abiding, and promote national unity, stressing that the strength of democracy depends on the character and responsibility of citizens. The House of Representatives today voted on the proposed State Police Establishment Bill as part of ongoing constitutional amendment aimed at tackling insecurity across the country. Lawmakers said the move is to strengthen internal security and improve local policing. The proposed legislation comes amid growing concerns over kidnappings, banditry, and violent attacks in several parts of the country, with many stakeholders calling for decentralized policing. The bill, if passed, would allow states to establish and manage police structures under constitutional provisions while working alongside federal security agencies. Security experts and political leaders have expressed mixed reactions, with supporters describing it as a timely solution, while critics warn against possible abuse by state government. No fewer than 268 Nigerians evacuated from South Africa have arrived safely in Lagos following renewed xenophobic tensions in the country. The returnees landed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport aboard. The evacuation, coordinated by the federal government, followed renewed attacks targeting foreign nationals in South Africa, leaving many Nigerians fearful for their safety. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Shola Enikanolaye, was expected to receive the evacuees on arrival. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said screening for Nigerians willing to return voluntarily had been extended to June 14 to accommodate more affected persons. The government also assured that adequate reception, documentation, and support arrangement had been put in place for returnees. Meanwhile, the South African government has imposed a 5-year travel ban on 268 returnees after declaring them illegal residents. South African immigration authorities said another batch of evacuees is expected to leave on June 15, while about 1,000 Nigerians reportedly registered for repatriation. Meanwhile, the South African government has imposed a 5-year travel ban on 268 Nigerians repatriated for allegedly staying in the country illegally. The group cleared for evacuation departed from OR Tambo International Airport on a chartered flight after being declared undesirable under South Africa's Immigration Act. Head of Immigration Enforcement, Mr. Stephen Van Nil, said checks by immigration officials confirmed that none of the 268 Nigerians had valid residency document. He explained that expired visas and passports automatically makes foreigners illegal residents under South African law. Mr. Van Nil disclosed that about 1,000 Nigerians registered for repatriation, with 500 already cleared. The state government has requested shortlisted candidates for the Nigerian Army 91 regular recruits intake yet to report for the ongoing screening exercise at the Cenotaph Asaba to do so without delay. Speaking on the Voice of Delta Public Enlightenment Program, Orientation Panorama, Director General of the State Bureau for Orientation and Communications, Dr. Fred Ogenesive, said the state government was determined to maximize its quota of 450 recruits. He disclosed that 563 Delta applicants were shortlisted in the recruitment, while 230 candidates had so far reported for medical screening at the headquarters of the 63 Brigade of the Nigerian Army on Anwai Road, Asaba, urging those yet to report to do so without delay, as participation in the screening was compulsory for enlistment. The Bureau Chief advised the candidates to come with all required documents and appear in the prescribed dress code, warning that tattoos, body inscription, and multiple piercing could lead to disqualification under the recruitment guidelines. He emphasized that the state governor had directed the State Awareness Creation Committee on Youth Enlistment into military and paramilitary services to provide the necessary support to candidates throughout the exercise. The Army recruitment, which began on the 9th of this month, will end on the 23rd. You're watching the Delta Television main news. Still to come, Philippines quake disaster worsen as survivors plead for urgent airlift. Details of this and more after the break. You're watching the Delta Television main news. Global financial markets opened under heavy pressure as geopolitical tensions escalated following reports of fresh U.S. military strikes on Iran, triggering a broad risk-off sentiment across equities and commodities. U.S. stock futures fell sharply overnight, with S&P 500 futures down 0.4%, Nasdaq 100 futures dropping 0.6%, and Dow future losing about 123 points. The decline was driven by renewed concerns over Middle East instability, which also hit investor confidence across Asia-Pacific markets. Oil prices surged in response to supply risk fears, with Brent crude rising to around 94.76% per barrel and WTI climbing to approximately $91.87. Safe haven demand saw gold trading near $4,093.85, while global bond yields remained elevated, reflecting ongoing inflation and risk uncertainty. Asian equities also reacted negatively, with Japan's Nikkei falling over 2% and South Korea's Kospi dropping more than 4%. Analysts say markets will remain volatile as investors monitor further development in the Middle East, alongside upcoming U.S. inflation data, which could influence central bank policy decisions. Authorities in the southern Philippines are calling for immediate helicopter airlift of food and essential supplies after a devastating 7.8 magnitude earthquake left dozens dead and thousands displaced, with several rural villages now completely cut off by landslides. The quake, which struck earlier in the week off the coast of Mindanao, has killed at least 47 people and injured more than 600, while over 45,000 residents have been forced into evacuation centers. Officials say entire communities in the province of Sarangani remain inaccessible due to blocked roads and continued aftershocks, raising fears of worsening hunger and shortages. Local leaders, including the mayor of Glan, have appealed to national authorities and the military to deploy helicopters immediately, warning that residents in isolated villages are running out of food and drinking water. Although emergency relief operations are ongoing, access constraints have slowed delivery of aid to the hardest hit areas. The Philippine government has already mobilized military aircraft, ships, and ground responders, while President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has authorized emergency funding for reconstruction and relief efforts. The disaster is being described as one of the strongest earthquakes to hit the country in decades, highlighting the Philippines' continued vulnerability due to its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire. The Asaba of Asaba, Professor Epiphany Azinge's son, has urged young Nigerians to avoid social media distractions and focus on their educational development in order to achieve excellence and bring honor to their families, institutions, and communities. He made the call when he received Master Grace Okediachi, an Asaba-born student of the Madonna College, who emerged African first runner-up at the 8th African Spelling Bee held in Harare, Zimbabwe, and had qualified for the World Spelling Bee competition in China. He commended the young scholar for distinguishing himself through academic excellence, describing him as a role model and an ambassador of Asaba Kingdom and Delta State, who had demonstrated the discipline and hard work could yield international recognition at a young age. The monarch constructed the students' academic focus with the growing distraction of social media among the youth, noting that consistent dedication to studies and intellectual growth remain key to long-term success and global competitiveness. He pledged the support of the Asaba community, as well as his personal contribution towards ensuring the students' participation in the upcoming competition in China. At the competition in Zimbabwe, Master Grace Okediachi was praised for his performance at the Continental Contest, where he displayed confidence, spelling skill, and commitment that earned him the qualification for the global stage. The Naira traded off with relative stability against the United States dollar today at both the official and parallel foreign exchange market. Market data indicates that the Naira exchange at about 1,360 Naira to $1 at the official market. At the Nigerian Foreign Exchange Market, NFEM, the official exchange rate hovered around 1,362 Naira to the dollar, reflecting sustained liquidity and improved confidence among market participants. Meanwhile, in the parallel market, popularly known as the black market, the dollar sold for about 1,400 Naira and was bought at approximately 1,390 Naira. Financial analysts attribute the relative stability of the Naira to ongoing foreign exchange reforms, improved dollar liquidity, and measured aims at boosting investor confidence, while demand for importers, travelers, and businesses continues to drive activity in the parallel market. The Joint Revenue Board, JRB, has assured taxpayers and stakeholders that concerns surrounding electronic money transfer levies, stamp duties, tax refunds, and revenue allocation under Nigeria's tax reforms will be addressed through consultations and technical engagement. Executive Secretary of the Board, Mr. Olusegun Adesokun, gave the assurance during a courtesy visit to the Chairman of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Dr. Mohammed Bello Shehu, in Abuja. He said the visit was aimed at strengthening cooperation as Nigeria implements revenue reforms to improve tax administration. He noted that stakeholders had expressed concerns over electronic transfer taxation, advanced tax payment, and revenue sharing, adding that the board will continue collaborating with relevant agencies to ensure fairness, transparency, and proper revenue allocation across states. Chairman, RMAFC, Dr. Mohammed Bello Shehu, reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to supporting tax reforms that protect taxpayers' interests, improve transparency, and strengthen revenue generation through sustained collaboration among stakeholders. South Africa will make history today when they face Mexico in the opening match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup at the iconic Estadio Azteca. The fixture will be a repeat of the opening game of the 2010 World Cup when Bafana and Mexico played out a 1-1 draw in Johannesburg. The match marks South Africa's second appearance in the World Cup opening fixture, making them only the third African nation to feature in the tournament curtain raiser after Cameroon in 1990 and Senegal in 2002. Both African sides famously won their opening matches and went on to reach the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Mexico will be playing in the World Cup opener for a record 6th time. The North Americans have featured in more opening matches than any other nation in tournament history. The 2026 FIFA World Cup, co-hosted by Canada, Mexico, and the United States, begins with high expectations as South Africa seek to create another memorable chapter in African football history. Nigeria's Super Eagles have maintained their 26th position in the latest FIFA Men's World Ranking released today. The three-time African champions were in action 4 times since the previous rankings. Eric Chele's side defeated Zimbabwe's Warriors 2-0 and thrashed Jamaica's Reggae Boys 3-0 at the Unity Cup Invitational Tournament in London. The West Africans also played 2 international friendlies, drawing 2-2 with Poland in Warsaw before suffering a 2-1 defeat to Portugal in Lira. Despite the mixed results, the Super Eagles remain the 3rd highest-ranked team in Africa, behind Morocco's Atlas Lions and Senegal's Teranga Lions. Algeria and Egypt compete the continent's top 5 ranked teams. On the global stage, the top 5 remained unchanged, with reigning world champions Argentina retaining first place ahead of Spain, France, England, and Portugal. The next FIFA Men's World Ranking will be published on July 20. Our thoughts for the day. Courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means you don't let fear stop you. To end the news, the highlights. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening democratic governance, promoting national unity, and addressing the challenges confronting the nation as Nigeria marks the 2026 Democracy Day celebration. The assurance was contained in a statement by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed June 16 to 25 for political parties to conduct primaries in recently restored state constituencies in Delta, Benue, Jigawa, and Kogi states ahead of the 2027 general elections. No fewer than 268 Nigerians evacuated from South Africa have arrived safely in Lagos following renewed xenophobic tensions in the country. And abroad, authorities in the southern Philippines are calling for immediate helicopter airlift of food and essential supplies after a devastating 7.8 magnitude earthquake left dozens dead and thousands displaced. You can follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. That ends the Delta Television main news. On behalf of the crew, my name is Perpetua Iboba. Thanking you so much for watching. Good evening.